my collection I have nearly 2,500 games over multiple consoles. But of all the mainstream consoles, one of the smallest game collections I have is for the Nintendo NES. So today we're going to really look into boosting that collection.
Game Pickups! Building the Games Room! Road Trips! Live Game Hunting!
Hello again folks, and welcome back to another Game Pickups video. And that's right, this week we're going to be really focusing in on collecting for the Nintendo NES. As I said, it's one of the consoles I have the fewest games for, as I think in the UK it's not that easy to collect for the NES. I think in America and maybe around the world, let me know in the comments down below, it's a lot easier, as I do not see NES games that often. But let me know if they're a lot more prevalent in your area. Before we jump into the pickups this time, I just want to remind you folks, if you enjoyed the video, to please hit the like button and please subscribe, as I put new videos out every Saturday live at 5, as well as bonus videos like this one throughout the week, and I really want you folks along for the ride. Now, let's get on to those pickups. So first of all, let's have a look at my NES collection, and it may surprise you to see that most of my collection is actually boxed. And what I've really tried to do is focus in on what I think are some of the most important titles on the NES. So you can see we've got Super Mario Bros. 3, which is in fantastic condition. Dr. Mario, Yoshi's Cookie, one of my favourite pieces in my entire collection, The Adventure of Link. So yeah, these were games that I've found over many years, and also have a fine selection of loose games. And here we have my loose selection of NES games. As you can see, these are a lot more kind of the cheaper titles and the ones you see a little bit more commonly. But yeah, there's some classic titles in here, of course, such as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Chip and Dale, and even Duck Hunt. But you know, these are more the games I will pick up cheaper whenever I get the opportunity. Let's get into some new pickups then, some new games to add into the NES collection. So I'm going to start off with the cheapest game I picked up, which is Nintendo World Cup. And just to prove the retro gaming does not need to be expensive, I picked this one up for just 99p plus postage on eBay. It may not be the most exciting game of all time, but this is a 4-player game for the NES from the 80s for just 99p. Next up we have Rad Racer, and as you can see it is in the official Nintendo dust sleeve. And I'm just putting this out here now, I'm putting out a bounty on these official Nintendo dust sleeves. If you message me, I will pay £5 for any sleeve you can send me. I am desperate for these, and they're getting harder and harder to get. But remember, they do need to be official Nintendo ones. Anyway, I digress. So, I have here Rad Racer, a fantastic game for the NES, which, if you did not know, is in 3D. You can wear 3D glasses to get a terrible 3D effect on this game. This one was a little bit more expensive, just under £10, but for an NES game in 2022, that ain't too bad. Here's our final loose NES game, and it is Gumshoe, a light gun game for the NES. And you know by now I adore my light gun games. I wouldn't quite say this is on the level of Duck Hunt, but it's still a really solid light gun game. Definitely recommend it. I picked it up for just under a tenner, which I think in 2022 is a pretty good price for a loose NES game. But that's not it for the NES pickups. Stick around to the end of the video, as I have not one, not two, but absolutely classic, boxed and complete NES games to add into the collection, so stick around. Our next pickups are slightly more up to date than those NES games, but still retro goodness. We're talking about PS1 games, and these are just some low level, kind of cheap PS1 titles that I picked up recently from a charity shop. The only problem being, you know I'm always out there live game hunting. I normally take you folks along, but these were literally at the counter, and I had 2 members of staff looking at me and couldn't exactly film. So first up, we have Metro Racer from EA Games for the PlayStation 1. This is boxed and complete, black label, for £1. In 2022, I don't think you can go wrong. To be honest, if I see a PS1 game for £1, I'm probably going to pick it up. And that kind of goes to show with our next one, Adidas Power Soccer, which was just 50p. You know, can you really pass up any PS1 game for 50p? If for nothing else, it has a good condition box. And, you know, using that kind of logic, we have FIFA Football 2004, again black label and complete for just 50p. But let me know, there are many different ways of collecting games, and you know, some people go for quality over quantity. Me, I am just, if I see something that's cheap, I'm going to pick it up. I've said it countless times before, but one of the best ways to get cheap modern gaming deals is Amazon flash deals, and these are especially good if you have Amazon Prime, as you can get them delivered next day for free. One such game I picked up recently is Surviving the Aftermath Day 1 Edition for the Nintendo Switch for just £14. As I said, this was a flash deal and it has now gone back up to £20. But this looks like a really interesting game. Basically, it's like a building and management of a colony of survivors after a world-ending event. And yeah, you just have to survive and flourish, completing tasks such as gathering supplies and fighting off invaders. Really looking forward to jumping into this one. It seems like a really cool mix of like city management and like survivalism. So yeah, very excited to play this one. If you take nothing else from this video, let me give you one piece of advice which somebody told me many years ago and I've stuck by, is to let people know you collect video games. You will be surprised how many people will say, oh, I found this, or oh, would you like that? A lot of people just want to get rid of some of their older games and they either give away for free or, you know, sell them to you for a good price, or even pick them up for you, like this game which my friend picked up for me in a charity shop, Spyro Enter the Dragonfly for the PlayStation 2. Not the greatest game of all time, but to pick this up for £1 is a really good deal. And that's the thing, if I hadn't told my friend that I collected video games, he may not have let me know about this game. So yeah, tell your friends, tell your family, tell the world, let people know you are a collector. If you've been watching my recent pickup and game hunting videos, you'll notice I've been picking up more and more Pokemon games. So I thought I really need a good console to play these games on. I was kind of looking at the original Game Boy, and you know what, I thought for my money I kind of prefer the Game Boy Advance. And for me, I prefer a certain model of Game Boy Advance. But when I came across this on eBay, I knew this was the one for me. Check out this custom shelled Game Boy Advance. It is absolutely amazing. It's fashioned after the Super Famicom. All the buttons are the correct colours, and yeah, this thing is an absolute thing of beauty. It hasn't been modded in any way. It is just a custom shell, but I think it's absolutely beautiful, and I can't wait to put hundreds of hours of Pokemon on this baby. We may have had a lot of Nintendo games so far, but there's one Nintendo console we still haven't had any pickups for this video, and it is by far my favourite Nintendo console to collect for, and that is of course the Nintendo 64. And one of my favourite things to collect for that console is of course boxed games. And yeah, they don't always have to be expensive, such as this copy of World Cup 98, which I picked up for just £6. And this thing is in absolutely amazing condition. And the thing is, now is the time to pick up games like this, as they're going to get harder to get and more expensive to get. I also managed to pick up this copy of FIFA Road to World Cup 98, once again in pretty good condition, and also for just £6. So these may not be the most exciting titles for the N64, but at the end of the day, if I can pick up both of these games for just over a tenner, boxed and complete, that's a good way to build your N64 collection. Of course, there's more than one way to make a cheap N64 collection, and another way to do this is to buy empty boxes. So the reason I bought this empty box for Diddy Kong Racing, so this has no game inside, but it does have the box, the insert and the instructions, and I paid just £10 for this. I already have a copy of Diddy Kong Racing, which arguably I think is better than Mario Kart 64. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree or disagree with that bombshell. So yeah, this was a cheap way to make this a boxed complete game, taking my loose cart which I bought years ago for about £5 to £10, combining it with this empty box off eBay for £10 to get a boxed and complete game for about half the price. We have come to our final pickup of this video, and we have two more boxed complete NES classics to add to the collection. These are the kind of games I think I'm going to be looking for more and more these days. These are not only the games I put off because they are expensive, but these are the kind of games that are only going to get more and more expensive, especially if you want them CIB. So, without further ado, the two NES games I've added to my collection are Castlevania and Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, and these are both boxed and complete, and I think you'll agree these are both in very, very nice condition. Considering these games are nearly as old as me, they are in especially good condition, especially this Castlevania 2. And the thing is, I did pay quite a premium price for these games, but I think in the coming years, games like this, especially from an iconic franchise such as Castlevania, are only going to get more and more expensive. And I think the longer you delay picking up games like this, the more they're going to put you out of pocket. So there we have it. The NES collection is slowly growing, as well as the game collection in general. The thing is, Rome wasn't built in a day, and the game collection wasn't built in a week. It has grown over years and years of hard work and hunting. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know what NES games you think are missing from my collection and which games I need to be on the lookout for. And also let me know which of your collections you are trying to build at the moment. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit like, subscribe, and as always, keep playing the game. See y'all soon.